What if your last name was actually a tiny piece of a map? A mountain, a river, a rice field, a forest, a bridge, a village. For many Japanese surnames, these aren't just random words. They can reveal clues about the landscapes, communities, and history connected to the people who carried those names generations ago. Yamada can evoke a mountain and a field. Takahashi can be connected to a high bridge. Kobayashi brings to mind a small forest. And Ishikawa combines the ideas of stone and river. But there's something even more fascinating. The meaning of a Japanese surname doesn't always tell the entire story. Some names have connections to ancient families, historical regions, old settlements, plants, landscapes, and important landmarks. So today, we're taking 20 of Japan's most recognizable surnames and uncovering the stories hidden inside them. And by the end, you may never hear a Japanese surname the same way again. Japanese surnames are fascinating because many of them contain clues about the world in which earlier generations lived. Some refer to mountains. Others refer to fields, rivers, forests, bridges, villages, or wells. And some have much deeper historical connections that can't be understood simply by translating the individual parts of the name. So, there's one important thing to remember throughout this video. The literal meaning of a surname is a clue, not necessarily a complete family history. Two unrelated families can sometimes have the same surname. Families can move from one region to another. And the same pronunciation can sometimes be represented by different written characters. But even with those limitations, Japanese surnames can give us fascinating glimpses into history. So let's explore 20 of them. 1. Sato. Let's start with Sato, one of the most common Japanese surnames. This name has an interesting connection to the idea of wisteria, a beautiful flowering plant. But Sato isn't simply a name that means wisteria. The wisteria element has important historical associations with the powerful Fujiwara family, one of the most influential aristocratic families in Japanese history. Over many centuries, different branches and lineages developed surnames containing this element. So when you hear Sato, you're not just hearing an ordinary family name. You're hearing a surname that may preserve echoes of Japan's ancient aristocratic and regional history. And this is an important lesson when studying Japanese surnames. Sometimes the history behind a name is much more complicated than its literal translation. 2. Suzuki. Next is Suzuki. This surname is especially interesting because its meaning can evoke the image of a bell and a tree. The name has strong historical associations with the Kii Peninsula and the Kumano region of Japan. There are traditional explanations connecting the name with agricultural and religious practices in that region. Over time, the surname spread far beyond its original regional associations. Today, Suzuki is one of the most recognizable Japanese surnames. So, although the literal image of a bell tree is fascinating, the true story behind the name goes much deeper. It's connected to regional history, tradition, and the movement of families across Japan. 3. Takahashi. Now we have Takahashi. This is one of the easiest names to visualize. The first part refers to something high or tall. The second part refers to a bridge. Put them together, and you get the idea of a high bridge. Imagine an old Japanese settlement where people need to cross a river. Perhaps one particular bridge stands higher than the others. Perhaps it becomes an important landmark. Over time, a geographical description like this can become a place name, and eventually, a family name. This is a common pattern in Japanese surnames. People were often identified by the features surrounding their home, and sometimes, those descriptions survived for generations. 4. Tanaka. Next is Tanaka. This surname is connected to the idea of being in the middle of a field. The field component is particularly significant because rice cultivation played an enormous role in traditional Japanese society. Rice fields weren't simply farmland. They were connected to food, wealth, taxes, community life, and local economies. So imagine a settlement surrounded by rice paddies. One household might be near the edge, another might be near a road, and another might be located in the middle of the fields. A simple geographical description could eventually become a family name. So when you hear Tanaka, Think about the agricultural landscapes that shaped Japanese communities for centuries. 5. Watanabe. Watanabe is another fascinating surname. Its meaning is associated with the idea of crossing and the area around a crossing. And that immediately brings rivers to mind. Before modern bridges, roads, and transportation systems, crossing rivers could be a major part of travel. Certain crossings became important landmarks. People lived around them. Travelers passed through them. Communities developed nearby. The name also has notable historical associations with the river systems around central Japan. Today, it's widespread throughout the country, but its meaning still gives us an image of movement. People arriving at a crossing, passing over water, and continuing their journey. 6. Iita. Next is Ito. Like Sato, Ito has a historical connection to the wisteria element we've already encountered. The name developed through different historical lineages and regional traditions. But there's something particularly interesting about Japanese surnames like this. The pronunciation alone doesn't necessarily tell you which written form of the surname a person has. Different Japanese surnames can sometimes sound the same while being represented by different characters, and those different characters can carry completely different meanings. So when someone introduces themselves as Ita, the sound of the name is only one piece of information. The written form can reveal another layer of the story. 7. Yamamoto. Now let's look at Yamamoto. This name brings us straight into the mountains. It can be understood as referring to the base or foot of a mountain. And it's easy to imagine how such a description could develop. Picture a village sitting below a large mountain. The mountain becomes the most obvious landmark in the area. People might describe the settlement as being at the mountain's base. Eventually, that geographical description could become associated with the people living there. Japan's mountainous landscape makes this type of surname particularly understandable. Mountains have always been important landmarks across the country. 8. Yamada. Yamada combines the ideas of a mountain and a field. So the name can evoke the image of a mountain field. Imagine farmland located near a mountain. That simple landscape could be enough to distinguish one settlement from another. And when you look at Japanese surnames as a whole, you'll notice how often they describe relationships between natural features. A mountain beside a field, a river beside a village, a bridge near a settlement, a forest surrounding a community. These names can almost feel like tiny descriptions of old Japanese landscapes. 9. Kobayashi. Next is Kobayashi. This surname evokes a small forest or grove. Imagine a small wooded area standing beside a settlement. It could become an obvious local landmark. Go past the small forest, meet near the small grove. Over time, a geographical description can become a place name, and eventually, it can become a family name. Kobayashi is a beautiful example of how something as ordinary as a group of trees could become part of someone's identity. 10. Nakamura. Now we have Nakamura. This name is connected to the idea of the middle or center of a village, and unlike names referring to mountains or forests, this one focuses on a human settlement. A village was an important social and geographical unit in traditional Japan. So, describing someone as being associated with the center of a village could have been a practical way of identifying them. It gives us a simple image. A village, and somewhere within it, a family whose location became part of its name. 11. Kato. Kato is another common surname containing the historical wisteria connection we've seen in Sato and Ito. The first part of the name has meanings associated with ideas such as adding, joining, or increasing. But once again, we shouldn't simply combine dictionary meanings and assume that gives us the complete historical meaning of the surname. Kato has connections to historical families and regional lineages. And this is why Japanese genealogy can be so fascinating. A surname can contain layers of history that aren't obvious from the modern meaning of its individual parts. 12. Yoshida. Next is Yoshida. This surname combines the idea of good fortune or something auspicious with a field. So it can evoke the idea of a fortunate field. Unlike some surnames that simply describe a location, this one also carries a positive meaning. The idea of good fortune has long been significant in Japanese culture. So you have a practical landscape, a field combined with an auspicious idea. It's almost like the name carries a small wish for prosperity. 13. Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi is another surname connected to mountains. The name can be understood as referring to a mountain entrance or opening. Imagine a road approaching a mountain. Perhaps there is a passage where travelers enter the mountainous region. That location becomes a recognizable landmark, and eventually, the name associated with that landmark becomes a surname. Again, Japanese surnames can sometimes feel like directions from another era. At the mountain entrance, near the river, in the village, beside the bridge, these descriptions helped people understand where they were in a world without modern navigation. 14. Matsumoto. Next is Matsumoto. This surname evokes the idea of being at the base of a pine tree. Pine trees have an especially important place in Japanese culture. They appear in traditional gardens, artwork, poetry, architecture, and symbolism. They are often associated with longevity and endurance. So, when you encounter a surname connected to a pine, you're not just looking at a reference to a tree. You're also encountering a symbol with centuries of cultural significance. 15. Inoue. Inoue is connected to the idea of being above or near a well, and a well was much more significant in traditional communities than it might seem today. Before modern plumbing, a reliable source of water was essential. A well could become a recognizable landmark. Families might live around it. People might gather there. It could become part of the identity of the surrounding area. So, a surname associated with a well gives us another glimpse into everyday life in older Japanese communities. 16. Kimura. Next is Kimura. This name evokes the idea of a village associated with trees, or a tree-filled village. It's another beautiful example of the relationship between Japanese settlements and the natural environment. Traditional villages weren't isolated from nature. Forests, fields, rivers, and trees were often part of everyday life. So, a settlement could easily become known by a distinctive natural feature surrounding it, and that description could eventually become a surname. 17. Mori. Now we come to Mori. This surname is wonderfully simple. It means forest. And there's something particularly beautiful about the way this word is written in Japanese. The character itself visually contains 3 tree symbols, so even the writing creates an image of a forest. One tree, another tree, another tree. Together, they create the idea of a woodland. Mori is a perfect example of how Japanese writing can make a word feel almost like a picture. 18. Hashimoto. Hashimoto is connected to the idea of the base or vicinity of a bridge. Once again, we encounter a bridge. And that's not surprising. Bridges were extremely important landmarks in traditional communities. A bridge could determine where people traveled. It could connect 2 settlements. It could become a meeting point. It could even influence where businesses and homes developed. So a family associated with the area around a bridge could eventually carry that geographical description as a surname. 19. Ishikawa. Next is Ishikawa. This name combines the ideas of stone and river. So, literally, it evokes a stone river. Picture a river flowing over a rocky riverbed. Maybe the stones were a distinctive feature of the area. Maybe the name came from a place associated with such a landscape. Either way, it's another example of a surname inspired by the physical environment. A river, stones, a simple landscape, and eventually, a family name. 20. Fujita. And finally, we have Fujita. This surname combines the idea of wisteria with a field. So the literal image is something like a wisteria field. But as we've seen with Sato, Ito, and Kato, the wisteria element also carries important historical associations. Wisteria has long been culturally significant in Japan, and it appears in many Japanese surnames. So, Fujita gives us both a beautiful natural image and a reminder of the historical layers hidden inside Japanese family names. What these 20 names have in common. Now let's take a step back. Look at the surnames we've just explored. Mountains, fields, rivers, forests, villages, bridges, wells, pine trees, wisteria, stones. These aren't random words. They represent the world that surrounded earlier generations. Before modern addresses, digital maps, and GPS, people naturally used the landscape to describe where they lived. A family could be associated with the mountain, another with the field, another with the village, another with the bridge, another with the forest. And over time, these descriptions could become hereditary surnames. That's why Japanese family names can feel like tiny maps of the past. But there's one important thing to remember. If your Japanese surname evokes a mountain field, that doesn't necessarily mean you can identify the exact mountain and field where your ancestors lived. If your surname means forest, it doesn't automatically mean your family came from one particular forest. And if your surname contains a character associated with a famous historical family, that doesn't automatically prove direct descent from that family. Surnames can develop independently. Families move, places change, different branches form, and similar names can emerge in completely different regions. So the meaning of a surname is best treated as a starting point for exploring family history, rather than absolute proof of ancestry. And perhaps that's what makes Japanese surnames so fascinating. They're more than sounds. They're more than labels. Many of them preserve fragments of the physical world. A mountain, a field, a river, a bridge, a forest, a village, a well, a pine tree, a wisteria plant. These were once ordinary parts of everyday life. But through names, some of those ordinary details survive for generations. The landscape may have changed. The village may have become a city. The old bridge may have disappeared. The fields may have become buildings. The forest may have become a neighborhood. But the name can remain. And every time someone says that surname, a tiny piece of that older world continues to live. So, what does your Japanese last name mean? Maybe it refers to a mountain. Maybe a field. Maybe a river. Maybe a forest. Or maybe it carries a fascinating connection to an ancient family or historical region. Whatever the meaning, remember that behind every surname there can be a story. And sometimes, that story begins with something as simple as a tree, a bridge, a field, or a river. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fascinating stories about Japanese culture, traditions, language, and everyday life. And let me know in the comments, which of these 20 Japanese surnames surprised you the most? And if you have a Japanese surname you'd like us to explore in a future video, leave it in the comments. Because sometimes, your name isn't just a name, it's a piece of history.